welcome to my channel. Today we begin a new series, Where Are They Now? We revisit some of our most unforgettable storytellers and check in on their lives after they shared their stories with us. Hi, my name is Linda. I'm 44 years old, and this is a story I've kept buried for most of my life, until the day fate decided to rip the silence wide open. When I was 17, I gave birth to a little girl. I was terrified, broke, and alone. My parents made the decision for me. You're too young. This will ruin your future. It's better for everyone if she's raised by someone else. I wasn't allowed to hold her. I never knew where she went. All I had was the sound of her crying as they wheeled her away. I tried to move on, but there's a scar in your soul when your arms forget the weight of your own child. 26 years later, I worked part-time at an upscale event planning firm. It wasn't glamorous, mostly behind the scenes. Logistics, steaming dresses, confirming florist orders. Then one day, I got assigned to assist at a high-profile wedding. The bride, a 26-year-old named Chloe Winter. She was radiant, bubbly, the kind of girl that made everyone feel like they mattered. She asked me, jokingly, if I could be one of her honorary bridesmaids. Said I reminded her of someone she once loved. I laughed. I agreed. At first, it felt sweet. Then, it started to feel strange. Her eyes, her laugh, the way she crinkled her nose when she was thinking. It all felt too familiar. One night, while helping her organize childhood photos for the slideshow, I saw a baby picture. Black curls, a small birthmark on the right shoulder. I froze. Who took this photo? I asked, trying to stay calm. Oh, that's one of the few I have from my birth mother, she said. They told me she was really young, that she wanted the best for me. My world stopped. Do you know her name? They never told me. Just that she was 17, and that she cried when she gave me up. I barely held it together. I smiled. I nodded. Then I went home and dug through an old tin box I hadn't touched in 20 years. Inside it was a birth certificate. Her name, Chloe, her birthday, her weight, my signature. I had just spent weeks standing beside the daughter I gave away, and she didn't know. She called me Ms. Linda. She asked for advice. She hugged me when she felt overwhelmed. She had no idea that every second with her was breaking and healing me at the same time. The night before the wedding, I sat at my kitchen table with a glass of wine and a pen in my shaking hand. I had two choices: tell her or disappear quietly. My heart wanted to scream, "I'm your mother. I never stopped loving you. I prayed for you every birthday." But my head knew better. You have a good life now. You love your adoptive parents. You're happy. And I am the past. So instead of a conversation, I wrote a letter. I started with the truth. My name is Linda, and I was 17 when I gave birth to you. I was scared, but I never stopped loving you. Not for 1 second. The day I gave you up was the most painful moment of my life. I told her how I ended up working at her wedding. How I recognized her. How proud I was of the woman she'd become. And finally, I wrote, I didn't tell you in person, because I didn't want to make your wedding about me. This day is yours. All I ever wanted was for you to live a full, beautiful life. And you are. If you ever want to find me, I'll be waiting. But if you never do, that's okay too. Just know you were never forgotten. Not for a single heartbeat. I folded the letter, placed it in a small ivory envelope, and wrote on the front, to Chloe, from someone who loves you more than words ever will. The next morning, I showed up early to the venue. Everyone was buzzing, taking photos, laughing. Chloe looked breathtaking in her gown. She grabbed my hand and said, "You've been such a calm in this storm." "Thank you, Linda. Really." I smiled, held back the flood, and said, "It's been my honor." Then, while everyone was taking photos by the fountain, I slipped the envelope into her clutch, nestled between lipstick and tissues, and I left. I didn't stay for the ceremony. Didn't need to, because I had already been there for the biggest moment of my life, standing beside my daughter, even just for a little while. Not as a mother, not officially, but in the deepest way that matters. That evening, I went out to dinner with some girlfriends. We caught up over wine and laughter, and that's when my phone buzzed. It was a number I didn't recognize. I answered and heard Chloe's voice. "Hi, I'm calling about the letter." "Who are you?" The words tumbled out. "I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to sneak it into your bag. I was scared to tell you. I thought maybe it would be better to write it." "Why didn't you tell me you were my birth mother?" "Because I didn't think it was fair to you. To your wedding day, you deserve happiness. And me showing up would just complicate things. But I am happy, and I want to know you. I want to call you Mom." My breath caught in my throat. I managed a shaky smile. "That's your decision, honey. And if it's what you want, then I'm here. If you ever want to meet," I could hear tears on the line. "I'll call again soon." "Okay, of course." That day changed everything and nothing. The day she was born, my life split into two halves. Before Chloe and after Chloe. But the Chloe of my memories still fit in the palm of my hand. Literally. She was my tiny baby. The Chloe I met at the wedding was a woman. Yet in an instant, she became both. With a wave of her hand, a tilt of her head, the way she unconsciously touched her right shoulder, every little thing tied her back to that little girl. I fell in love all over again. Only this time, I knew her story. And I listened to hers. She told me about growing up in foster care, about feeling different, about always searching for something or someone she couldn't name. I learned about the woman she'd become, the dreams she chased, the passions she held, and the pain of never knowing her roots. Over the next few months, we visited the town where she was born, walked the streets, sat by the river where they took the only photo I had of us. Together, I didn't have answers, I didn't have apologies, but I had a promise to be the mother she deserved. Not for the 17 years she lost, but for however many days, weeks, months, or hopefully years we had left. As cliché as it sounds, our bond is unlike anything I've ever known. It's tender, it's cautious. It's rooted in a history that predates both of us. I still can't believe I gave her up, but I also wouldn't trade those 26 years. Because they made our connection stronger, deeper, more precious. It's a complicated mix of emotions, guilt and gratitude, love and longing, and above all, this profound sense of homecoming. It feels like I'm finally whole, like a puzzle piece slotted into place, and it's because of her. Our love is a mosaic, made up of fragmented moments and years of stolen glances. It's imperfect, yes, but it's real. And in the end, isn't that all that matters? Someday, maybe I'll tell her the whole story. Why I really gave her up? What decisions led to that day in the hospital? But I know she doesn't need to. She already knows. In the silences between us, in the tears that fall, unbidden, I see it reflected in her eyes. The pain of that day echoes across the years. We both carry its weight, but we don't have to define it. Because sometimes, the most powerful stories are the ones we don't need words to understand. All these years, I lived with the ghost of a decision I made, when I was barely a woman myself. But now I have Chloe. And in her, I see my reflection, the daughter I always was, the mother I never stopped being. If you're listening to this, and you've ever had to love someone from afar, know this. One day, if they're ready, they might just come home. And if they do, welcome them back. Your love might be the homecoming they've been waiting for too.